Welcome to episode 48. I am really excited about this episode because we have Liz Carroso, who also happens to be my Shani mom. And I'm so excited to interview her because she has such an incredibly inspiring story that, all of the girls in our team absolutely love my mum. We call her the BIB Mama Bear, but Liz has actually been a medical aesthetician who worked in that industry for about 30 years. Later in her life, though, she decided to follow a lifelong dream, and that was to be an international flight attendant. So I don't know how she's done this, but somehow she's managed to do both things, her network marketing business and also flying. Just a little side note, my mum has absolutely crazy work ethic, you guys. It's definitely where I get it from. And so what I love about Liz's story is that, her passion always revolved around helping people in some way, making change. So when I invited her to join the team, she'll share this in this podcast. It was very intriguing to her, but she had a lot of hesitations. She had a really busy life. She had 2 jobs at the time. She was in her 50s and she dove in and decided to give it a go, but her story and her triumph of all the hurdles and how hard it was in the beginning and, all the things that most people would give up about, she shares that in this episode. So I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her. She's now an integral team member of our team. She hit the pinnacle position of our company, NMD, late last year in November, which was just the most amazing way to end 2019. And what she's doing is showing people out there, women of all ages, in particular those, in their 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond, that anyone can do this business and anyone can crush it if you put your mind to it, no matter what age and no matter how quote unquote late they start. It's never too late. So if you would love to watch this interview, head over to YouTube. You can sit with us in our living room and watch us, or you can listen to this on Spotify and iTunes. If you think about someone while listening to this episode who you think will really take a lot of value away from Liz's story, please share it with them. If you enjoy it, head over to iTunes and give us 5 stars. We would love to hear your review. It also helps to support our channel. We do a shout out of the week every week, so please leave your Instagram handle so we can tag you in that one. You can check out our website over at www.babestalkingbusiness.com. or our Instagram at Babes Talking Business, where we have loads of information, including our free side hustle guide that you can download. It's a 40-page guide where we help you not only think about your bright idea, but we also share some really interesting facts about business that you might not know about. Plus, we give 53 different ideas on different side hustles that you can start today, as well as take you through a coaching process that's going to help you get your business up off the ground running. You'll also find in the show notes Liz's Instagram and social media handles as well, so you can go and check her out and follow her because I am sure she is going to inspire the pants off you. Okay, without further ado, guys, we are so excited for you to hear from Liz. We're recording! Yay! Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm really excited for today's episode because it's my mama. Mama Liz.
Hey, hello.
So, for those of you who don't know, my mum has actually been a part of our business actually you joined pretty much straight away after I did.
Not even 30 days after.
Yeah, well, I needed you to get a promotion. So.
You did.
So why don't you share with everyone a little bit about your story with why you joined network marketing, and then we're just going to ask you some questions. By the way, P.S., my mum hit the pinnacle position of the company in November last year.
I did.
So she's one of our NMDs.
And that's why we wanted to have you on the show, because we made a pact. Well, we had this idea every time someone hits a pinnacle position in the team, I think it'd be really cool to have them on the show so people can hear, because everyone's got a different story.
Correct.
Yeah. Everyone says yes for different reasons. Everyone's journeys look different. We all have different ages, backgrounds. So let's hear them, let them hear your story and how you came across our business?
It's definitely a little bit different to most because I didn't start this business thinking that this is what I wanted to do. As Shani said, I really just did it because she needed somebody. And we all know network marketing, that's how we kind of grow our businesses, by bringing other people in and sharing what we learn with them. But I wasn't really it wasn't something that I really wanted to do because I was really busy. I had 2 jobs at the time when this was introduced to me, and I was like, well, it's not really something I have time for anyway. Plus, coming from an era when network marketing wasn't probably something that was looked up to back in the 80s and 90s, there was that misconception of how things would go, what people would think. So all those things were running through my mind, as well as the fact that I didn't have much time. But, of course, being a mum, I was like, okay, you need me, so I'll sign up. And that's what I did. So at the beginning, it was really just about, trying to help you. And, yeah, I loved what we were doing with our program and our products. So that was the one thing that always sort of gave me the urge to want to look into it a little bit more once I started to think about, I really love these products. I really want to share because I think that it could be really beneficial to so many people. So that's kind of how it started. It started very slow. I didn't really do anything as far as trying to hit promotions. I wasn't thinking of growing the business. It was really just to support you. And that's basically it.
And when did that change? Like, obviously you loved the products. Did you have a vision for it at the start with business, or you just like, I'm just going to do this and share the products? I love the products.
To begin with, it was really just once I loved the products and I saw how good they were and I saw what they did for me, I thought that I needed to share it. So I think what happened was because I was sharing so authentically about what was happening to me and how much I believed in what the products did and what our program sort of did to help people, it started to happen that people just wanted to, give them a go. So customers started to come in. I never really thought about it growing with teams. So it was more about customers. That sort of I never had a problem with that. And once I realised, wow, this is amazing, I can actually probably do something with that. That's probably about 6 months in, I started to think, okay, Shani, because she kept saying, Mum, you've got to do this. This is going to be amazing. And probably 6 months
I
in.
was so obsessed.
She was obsessed. Again, trying to be supportive, I was like, okay, I don't see what you see, but okay, I'll just give it a go. So I worked that little bit harder and tried. And, at the beginning it didn't sit well with me to try and grow the business and get team on. So that was a bit of a struggle to begin with. There was a lot of things that I had around, like I said, with misconceptions, and it wasn't really working for me because I had blockages and I had hang-ups about how it was going to be. But once I sort of really let that go, then that's when, probably 12 months in, is when I decided, okay, now I have a vision of the long-term goal, which is that was the game changer for me. Pushing myself to try and do things too quick didn't sit well with me because it was just something that was too difficult time-wise and a whole lot of other things in my life. But, long-term, I was like, well, if I'm going to be here for the long term, it doesn't really matter how I get there so long as I do. And that's how it's sort of begun.
You mentioned that you have blockages at the start, which I think so many people do, especially when it comes to the network marketing business model. I know we've had a few episodes where we've spoken into ours.
Yeah.
What were yours coming into this?
It was really just, like I said, coming from an era in the 80s where pyramid schemes were you heard them all the time. There was a lot of them around, and I guess back then we associated pyramid schemes with network marketing for some reason. Now, it took a long time to understand they're two very different things, right? Obviously, pyramid schemes are, they haven't been around for many, many years and they're illegal. But for some reason, people think that that is that. So that was one of the hang-ups I had to begin with. It was that misconception because I didn't understand. So the first step was for me to learn. I think our generation or my generation has a lot to learn from your generation because you guys are way more open-minded about things and you kind of get things quicker. So for people in my age group, I guess it's a little bit more difficult because we have these hang-ups. Even if we say we don't, we actually really do. So that's something that we really need to work hard on to overcome.
How did you overcome that?
I just began to see my vision. My vision was, well, you know what? I think that this can really work. I understand now that it's not what I thought it was. So educating myself was the key, educating myself on what this really was, the opportunities that it could bring, what it could be for me and my family long term. That's where I started to break down those barriers and those walls.
I think as well, like if I reflect back, there was a moment there where, like I remember when you gained your confidence and it was when I was traveling. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we were like doing Zooms together, and you got like 20 customers like in a really short amount of time, and you were like, actually, I am really good at this. And it's like that helped you catapult your confidence. And then it's kind of like that, what they say, like repetition just brings on competence, and competence brings on confidence. And it's almost like that's what happened. Like you just kept at it, you kept doing it, you got better, you refined your skills.
Yeah.
You're a gun with helping customers now still, like, and you help your team with that. So maybe that's where it kind of came from.
Yeah, it kind of sort of, it was more about, I always was a believer in trying to help people, especially particularly in health has always been a big passion of mine. So when I was able to have, I think educating ourselves on and really believing in what we're doing. I always say to my team, you have to be a product of the product. If you're not a product of the product, if you don't believe in it yourself, how can you get other people to believe it? And I think that's really where the game changer was. And the fact that, you were away. So that was kind of like a good thing for me, as we've talked about before, because it made me step out of my shell without you. And then it was like, okay, I'm actually doing this business for me now. I'm not doing it for you anymore. So when it started something that I wanted to help you with, but it turned out that you helped me with something completely different, another avenue of income. And, I never realised how much it could be until I really sat down that year that you went away and thought, okay, this is a game changer now. I'm helping people. I'm making a difference. I'm actually earning an income. I was able to quit one of my jobs and reduce my second job to part-time. That was, I had been doing that for many years. So I guess the belief changed.
Yeah. I'd love to talk about that a little bit in regards to your job. So obviously you're an international flight attendant, and with COVID and everything that's happened, obviously you've been stood down.
Yeah.
Maybe share a little bit about what this business has been able to do for you, and something really exciting that's happening next Thursday that I think this business has definitely helped with.
So, I still am an international flight attendant because it's something I really enjoy. I've reduced my hours to part-time because I don't want to give that up. That's something that I still really enjoy, and it's something that I do for me. But what this has been, it's made me realise that, it's really important not to put all your eggs in the one basket, right? And I'm so grateful today because had I had been just an international flight attendant today, my income would not be nowhere near what it is today. And, being stood down from a job that, it could be 12 months before we get back to doing it again. I'm so grateful that it's not affected me because this is what my main income is today. And because that's my main income, the not being able to fly has not really affected me. It's actually been a bit of a blessing because I really get to concentrate on this, which is what I really want to concentrate on for the future. And yes, as you said, one of the things it's brought about was I've been able to, my husband and I have been able to extend our home and make some renovations. And next Thursday, my mum moves in with us, and that's something that we've really been wanting to do for her. So she doesn't need to worry about rent and all that kind of stuff, and she'll be with us. So we've built a little granny flat for her, and she moves in next Thursday. And, that's been a big part. This has been a big part of that, being able to have that finance, sort of not worrying so much about the finances, and have that reassuring her that it's going to be okay, that we can do this for her, has been a really good thing.
It's pretty cool.
It's so cool. I think that's why I was really excited to have you on the show, because at different ages, different things drive us. We say yes for different reasons. And I know you mentioned, like, it was about 12 months in when you educated yourself, you built your belief, you built your confidence, you had a vision. What was that vision 12 months in? What was that for you?
To be honest, I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I actually said, I'm actually going to be up on that stage with my, I'm going to be an NMD and I'm going to be up on that stage. I don't know where that came from. And it just came to my mind one day, and I was like, wow, okay, now that I've verbalized this, I really need to go for it. So that happened, like I said, 12 months in, when I really looked at this as the potential that this business had. for the future. But having said that, I still didn't push myself. I saw the long-term vision. That's one of the things I love to teach people that join us in this business is, it doesn't have to be short-term gains. And I know that we all know that, there's, you have a employee mindset or entrepreneur mindset. And I think it's really important to shift that, because if you don't shift that, you're just looking at the next buck that comes in. And when that next buck doesn't come in, you can easily give it away. But when you've got that long-term vision, you focus more on that and not the short-term wins. So that's a really important thing that I like to share with all of my team, and I think that really works.
Yeah, I think it's so... Look at Shen just looking at you like you're a proud mama herself.
It's so cool. It's epic. Like, I just think about how many people would love to see their parents be in a great financial situation. And it's just so cool that we've been able to do this business together as a mother-daughter duo. But it's just really cool to see you and Dad just not stressed. It's epic because Dad loves his job and he does his thing, and then you love your job when it's happening, and you do your thing, and then you guys come back, and it's just amazing that the fact that you could even do a granny flat for grandma to move in, and now she never has to pay rent again. My grandma's been on the pension for how long now?
About 20 years.
And it's crazy. She's so good with her money, right? Because she's she budgets it, and she pays her rent on time, her electricity, her phone bills, and then she's got a little bit of money and she always buys us gifts on our birthdays. And I'm like, don't buy me a gift. You've literally the pension is shit all.
It's really one of the main things I think is really important to highlight is that financial freedom that I was able to achieve, I've been able to pass that on for her. So her pension now is going to be just for her to just splurge on whatever she wants.
She's going to be balling.
It's
going to be balling.
Okay, so my birthday present request now.
So now you can buy me a birthday present.
And that's the beautiful things they're the stories that you love to hear. Sticking to something because you know that it can be something more than it's something more than just a little bit of income coming in every day. The more you work at it and you really have your goals set long term, there's so much you can do, and you can help so many people along the way. And I'm really happy that I've been able to be in that position now where I can give back to her that way, because she's worked so hard all her life. And although she doesn't say she struggles, she does. She struggles.
Yeah.
And we all try and help her, but this is going to be she's going to go do whatever she wants now. So that's a really special thing for us.
I think it's been so special watching you guys work together too, because not only obviously the financial rewards and the security and the flexibility and choices and freedom that comes with that, but the big events that we've been at, having you there, but then also having Wilson there. Wilson comes along, having your mum and dad for those events, having your parents part of your business, part of gathering, seeing people that you work with and people that become such a big part of your life. Yeah. That alone is so special.
Yeah, it really is.
And cause especially for a lot of girls who are in their 20s or 30s, just in network marketing in general, a lot of us don't get that understanding from their parents. So not only to have mum and dad who understand but are in it, they appreciate you, they're at the events, at the conferences, seeing you on stage, that's pretty special.
Yeah, it is pretty special, and it's really good. Shani and I have a very different way of seeing things and working together, but I think we've grown a lot and understand each other a lot better now, because I know at the beginning, I was probably the thorn on her side. Because I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't like that. I don't want to be on that training. It doesn't interest me. And she's like, you've got to do this, Mum. And that was, I know that was hard for her. But what was hard for me was her not understanding that I didn't want it back then, right? And when I don't want it, no one that doesn't want something, you're not going to get them to budge. That's just the way it is. The light's just got to click in. Once the light's on, that's when you can help people. And I know that we were probably annoying each other a little bit at the beginning because she was gung-ho, I'm doing this, I've got this vision. I'm like, great, I love your vision, but it's not my vision, So when that changed, I think that was really important too, because it really helped. Now looking back, it's helped, I understand where she was coming from, and I think now she understands where I was coming from. And it's really helped us with other team, because not everybody not everyone that comes on is going to do everything exactly the way we map it out for them. But the thing is not to give up on people, because that person that doesn't look like they're interested today might be your next NMD, 4 years down the line, right? So that's a really important thing to remember. Everyone has a different thing that will make them light up. And it may happen at different times, not necessarily when they sign up.
Yeah.
I think so many people looking into our business, because it's babes in business and babes talking business, they see the millennials, they see the 20s and 30-year-olds in the team. So for a woman who is in an elder generation coming into the business, did you experience any blockages yourself, or what advice would you have to maybe other women of your age who are looking at it being like, well, if Liz can do it, could I do it?
Yeah, look, this business was not easy for me. I've had businesses in the past, traditional businesses. I consider myself an intelligent person. I learn really quickly when I want to, put my head down and learn. But this was really difficult for me for many reasons. Firstly, I'm not one that easily talks to people that I don't know, right? I'm a bit of an introvert. So that's a really difficult thing. And this business is all about, building relationships with people. So that was a big blockage to start with. Secondly is the fact that I had zero technology and understanding of technology. I just knew how to hop on a laptop. I knew how to use Word. I could send an email, all that normal stuff. But this business has made me learn so much more. And I'm still perfecting that. I haven't gotten there.
Don't you have more followers than us?
Yeah. She does. She has more followers than us on Instagram.
Yeah, that was another, that was another thing when they said you need to do this on social media. I was like, what do you mean? What? I didn't want to do it on Facebook because I had too many friends. So I started up an Instagram account. I thought, okay, what do we do? So I started with 20 and today it's gone, I think it's 12,000. But that was just... I really spent a lot of time managing my social media. I mean, there's so many things in this business that you don't think about, and that was something that I really had to learn how to deal with that, how to work around that, how to grow it, how to perfect the conversations and relationships on social media when you're dealing with complete strangers. So they were all things that were totally out of my comfort zone. But I feel like today I can safely say that I feel like I'm in a place where I can easily talk about any aspect of this business without any of those old blockages that used to stop me.
So anyone can do this business.
Anyone can do this
business.
We're
willing to learn, have the desire and a vision, or be hunger.
I feel like you really have to come into it with an open mind. Like I said, my generation we're much more closed-minded than your generation. You guys are open to a lot of new things, whereas for us it's more structural. It was a different era. And we had a lot of things in that era that this looks like it could be. So that's a huge blockage in itself. And it's not until people stop and just, listen and really educate themselves on what they've been, the opportunity that they're being shown, it's not going to work for them. So it's really important that people in my generation just really stop, learn from you guys who are younger and be open. Just because we're older doesn't necessarily mean we know everything. We don't.
But in saying that, we have learnt so much from you and the other ladies on the team who aren't in their 20s and 30s. Yeah. We've I guess you bring the wisdom.
Yeah, it's a great combination, right?
Yeah. I bring the open-mindedness, and you bring the wisdom.
Yeah, so you've got the open-mindedness and drive. I bring the wisdom and the hang on a minute, let's look at this kind of scenario.
And I think that's what you've taught a lot of the girls in our team, actually, like when Mum hit NMD, like she did it in her own pace, she did it in her own time. You did it in your own style as well. Like you didn't necessarily follow the system that Loz and I built,
no.
Which is fine. And it just goes to show that systems are great, but...
And, it's not because, what you guys did is amazing. And yes, there's a lot of aspects of that, obviously, that we all use. But a lot of it was, was more for the younger generation. So when I was to show people what we had, didn't necessarily click with the older generation because it was just different.
Yeah.
So I had to sort of work around that and find a way that I could, reach out to people in my age group.
Mm.
I think it's so cool when you think the only thing you invested was $165 for a virtual office 4 years ago, and how you've learned how to run technology, build a social media following of 12,000 people, have a full-time income, a residual income, a granny flat. There's no risk.
Yeah. No risk.
Nothing to lose and so much to gain.
Yeah. That's why I think it's really important. The most important thing to do is to just really sort of learn how to speak to people that have these blockages, because they will listen if you just hit the right keys, right? And if you just really sort of explain to them, this is really different. It's not what you think it is. Just give me the opportunity to show you. And it's not unlike any other business. You help people here That's the difference. But we all work and strive to get better. The good thing is with this is you work at your own pace. Like you said, Shani, I was able to do it my way. You guys hit the pinnacle position within 2 years. It took me 4 years to get there, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the long-term vision is what works, right? Knowing that eventually you'll get there. And I would set myself small goals because that's how my mind can, work. Small goals, get there, and then work on more goals. And that's how it kind of happened, really. A lot of help from you guys, obviously, because there was a lot of times, and particularly you, Shani, of course, because if it wasn't for your help in all those times where I was like, I don't know how to do this, can you please help me? It was like, I probably would have given up back then. So, yeah, it's definitely a game changer. It's definitely something that I think everyone needs to have a look at. And it's definitely a way of the future. Look, we've been doing business at home online for the last 4 or 5 years, and now it's the thing to do. So we were doing it way before it was cool.
We were using Zoom before Zoom was cool.
I know, right? So, yeah.
So if you could give Liz on day one any advice, knowing what you know now,
and knowing how you felt then, how stubborn you were and didn't want it,
yeah,
what would you say to her?
I would say just shut up and listen.
Just shut up and listen.
I think Shani tried to say that.
She probably did. She probably said it. No, I think I would just tell myself, just stop and don't have these, just what you have in your mind is not what they're showing you. You need to listen, you need to look, and you need to go away and learn about it, educate yourself before you make a decision. You can't make a decision on something you're not educated on. That's number one, right? Mm-hmm. And that goes with everything in life, not just this business. You can't just say no without knowing what you're saying no to. And I feel like that's what I was saying. I was saying no to something that I just didn't know what it was about. And it wasn't until much later where I realised, thank goodness that she's stubborn, that's one. But also thank goodness that it came to me because I the urge of a mum wanting to help her daughter, because I would never have signed up for this if it wasn't for that reason. So that was the reason behind it, but it certainly was something that I'm so grateful for Shani to have shown me, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here today. I'd probably still have 2 jobs today.
If it wasn't for that $300 bonus that I really wanted,
yes,
we wouldn't be here.
That's right.
I think one of my personal drivers in this business, like in the beginning, it was the money. It was like, I want that bonus, and like I wasn't going to get that bonus if you didn't join. That's so right. I was like, Mum, you were joining.
And that was a lot of the conversations that you used to see. That's another good point you bring. You'd say, but Mum, if you do this, you're going to have this bonus. I was like, I don't care about the bonus.
Whereas my language is like, why wouldn't you go for the bonus?
It's there.
Yeah.
So this is where it's really, really tricky, and we have to be open-minded as well. That everyone that joins has a different reason, and they're driven by different reasons. So if it's a mum wanting to help her daughter, you say to her, if you do this, it's going to help your daughter do that. That's what would have driven me, rather than you saying to me, but you've got that bonus, right? When you would say,
I got it right the first time. If you join, I'll get a $300 bonus.
That's right.
Every time you went to go for a bonus, you say, Mum, if you just get your button to gear, I get a $15,000 bonus this month.
That's right. So I think I would say that. I would just say, you really need to listen and educate yourself before you make a decision.
I've got 2 questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to someone like Shan, has someone who wants their mum to join?
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to empower them with additional income. So I'm like, I would do anything for my mum to join, but same thing, she should never. And I'm like, I don't want to prejudge, but she doesn't know social media. She doesn't feel comfortable talking to people. How would you share?
Describing me?
Yes, no. So how would you just say, hey, Mum, I need to, like, is that how you get her in there?
Well, that's what she did. She actually said to me, join, you're going to do this, you love health, you love this, join. I was like, no, don't want it. And then the day she said, I really need this, I've got one more day, if I don't get someone in, I'm just not going to make that bonus. And I knew that she had this real big drive and she had vision for this business. So that's what did it. The fact that she said, I need you to do it because I can't do it. Well, that's the only reason I didn't think twice. But I did say, I'll do it for you, but don't you make me try and do anything more with it because I don't want to.
And then it's just holding space for them, is it?
And that's it. And then just keep saying, well, if you did this, it would really help me to do that. So it's just letting them know that it could help you. Mums always want to help their kids, right? So she can't say no to you when you need her help.
Maybe we
hard.
just use this podcast episode and just use it as our mum. Just listen
listen
to
to
this
this.
episode.
And maybe, what advice do you have for other mums out there who might listen to this episode?
I'll give it a go. Like, we have got so much to learn from the younger generation. We really need to open our minds. Traditional business is not what it used to be back when we were younger. I think traditional business is a really complicated and difficult thing. You have so much more to lose. You've got nothing to lose here, and so long as you're open-minded about growing and feeling those growing pains, because it's not easy either. It's really difficult to get out of your comfort zone and start moving muscles that you've never even tried moving before, as far as learning. You've got nothing to lose, particularly if you're in a place where you think, oh yeah, I'm thinking of retiring. Give this a go. I mean, this is a great retirement plan. You still get to be active, you still get to work your mind, and you get to have the freedom. Eventually, when you get to where you decide to get to, of finance. I mean, the finance freedom is,
It's never too late.
Never too late. Absolutely.
Like, you're in your 50s.
It's my birthday. Hello, it's my birthday in 2 days.
I was going to say today, I'm like, oh my gosh.
And
Sunday.
Yeah, it's my birthday in 2 days, and I'm going to be 54, and I started this business at 50.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
That's cool. I love that.
yeah, so that's all.
She doesn't look 54. I hope I look like you when I'm 54.
I hope I have your genes. I think I do. I think I should.
Are you? You'll be
I think I
fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, so that's what I'd say to them.
There's so many golden nuggets in this episode, and I'm excited to have you on because, like I said, I think people just see a certain type of person in this business, and you don't see all the beautiful stories that are behind the scenes and people doing it for different reasons at different paces in their own way. And I think that's why I'm such a massive advocate. I know Sham's the same for network marketing, because there's so much power in having an additional income stream into the family unit, whether it's
Absolutely.
an extra $100 a month, it's a $500 a month, it's 50. Like, there's families where that would make all the difference.
I just feel if we could really get it out there, people need to understand how it really works. There's all this stuff about how you do it for yourself, and the misconceptions out there that were built back in the 80s are really hard to work through. So it's really about just getting the time to speak to someone that has those misconceptions, and really trying to explain to them exactly what it is, because it's so different. It's so different to what I imagined in my head back then 4 years ago.
I just think, like, you buy products, right? You buy your shampoo or you buy multivitamins from the supermarket. Instead of buying it from big franchises, you just buy it from a network marketer, and that retail profit supports that family. Like, it's that simple. Just stop buying it from big corporations and support local
I feel like
small
there's a big
businesses.
shift in this now, and I think that people are there is a little bit more leniency towards this type of business. But like I said, I think it comes more from I'd love to see numbers on this, but I feel like it comes from the younger generation than the older generation, because it takes us a lot longer to, put our barriers down and just give it a go.
I think more people are going to be open to it, especially after the last 4 months of people being forced to work online, like being like, I actually have to pivot, and here's a network, or here's a business model that everything's already done for you, the training, the franchise, the products, the research, the company, like the distribution, back-end office, everything is done.
And it's so annoying when I now feel what Shani used to feel like. It's so annoying when you know that there's someone that's struggling and you can help them with this, and they just do not want to have a bar of it. They don't want to listen. It's so frustrating.
So you can wait for that light to go on.
Yeah.
Until it's on, you can't help.
I guess it's more about trying to find what will turn on that light. Trying to really have a chat and trying to find out what it is that's going to actually turn the light on. Because what the conversation might come from a place where it might light us up, but it's not going to light them up. So really trying to hone in on what they're thinking and what's blocking them is really a really important part.
I always say that network marketers, at the end of the day, we're just master askers. Hey, we've just got to be curious and just ask the right questions to see what drives them, or what their pain or what their value is, and just saying like, hey, like, if I could help you with this, would you be open to be having a look to see if this could help?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me, girls. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Usually we'd have a wine for you, but I feel like this afternoon it was a bit of a stuff around with our technology, guys.
I feel like
okay.
every episode.
And
I don't know, like, if anyone can hear, but the dogs are in the background barking at each other. Little Pumbaa and Hozzy are just barking. Poor Maddie's out there being daddy daycare.
I'm really upset that there's no wine, I have to say.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
We can pour one now. We're done.
It's Thanks, guys.
Thank
We're
you.
going to go have a wine now.
Let's do it.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, what an amazing episode. I hope you're feeling inspired after that conversation and empowered to make some changes and choices in your life. Now, don't forget to let us know if you loved this episode. Please give us a 5-star review. It really helps us know that we're on track with serving you guys, and also majorly supports our channel. And you may even be in the running to be the shout out of the week. Every week on Instagram, we share one of our reviews with our network. So please be sure to leave your Instagram handle or your website in your review so we can share you with our amazing community. If you head over to the link in our bio on Instagram at Babes Talking Business, you can get access to so many of our goodies, including the link to our bib shop. It's a crazy cute online merchandise shop that donates 100% of profits to a non-for-profit charity every month. So head over and check out who we're donating to this month and get yourself something super cute to wear. You can also find in our Instagram bio our books. You can get your hands on Life Above Zero by Lauren Kerr or The 4-Year Career with Shani Thompson. Both super easy reads and incredible books to help you expand and evolve in even deeper ways. Now, don't forget to head over to the show notes. You can check out any of the links or the books or the references we mentioned in this episode. And before we go, we just want to say thanks so much for being here, for committing to being the best version of you, and for showing up for you today. You are freaking amazing. Now, if you think that there is someone in your life that could really benefit from this episode, while you're feeling super inspired, please hit the share button and send them this episode right now. And the reason we're asking you to share the love is because you get what you give. And the more that you give and inspire, the more you get in return. Head over to www.babestalkingbusiness.com to check out all of our other podcasts. And we just want to say we are sending you so much love, and we hope to see you soon.
That's what I feel in my heart.